Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's time for a night of recognition and celebration as we present the National Ataxia Foundation Awards. To get things started, please welcome the Director of Development for the National Ataxia Foundation, Joel Sutherland, and Spouses Support Group Leader and host of the Did You Know podcast, Dana Morrow.
Hey. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, Emil, does that guy have a great voice or what? Emil, thanks for the great introduction. Yeah. Outstanding. Outstanding. Maybe someday when I go through puberty, I can get a voice like that. Hey, welcome, and thanks for being with us here this evening. You know, we have some awards that we wanted to present this evening, but first, we have a little unfinished business, don't we? Just a quick reminder that we have had our gold Hope tie on display for most of the conference here this weekend. As a reminder, our logo, a dark blue, represents the strength of this foundation. First place, power. Our light blue represents the compassion that I hope you all felt over these last couple of days. And once again, the mission being for us this weekend to make sure that everybody goes home understanding that you're not alone. The circle illustrates the fact that we're all in this together. And this is the gold sliver which designates hope. Our last bid was $250. All right? But we're not done. I apologize to the gentleman who bid $250, but you know what? It's all about growing this thing. So I want to open this up. We have $250. Will anybody give us $275? We can go up in increments of $275. We got 270. I'm sorry, what was that? We got 300 back there. Can we do 325? 400. We've got 400. There we go. All right. Do we have 425? 425 here. 425. 425. 425. We've got $500 right there. $500. 500. Do we have 525? Do we have 550? We've got 550 right here. 550. Do we have 550? Do we have 600? $600. $600? We've got $600 over here. Thank you so much. $600. $600 for the Hope tie. Six. Do I have 650? 650. We have $600. We have $600 going once. We have 625. Thank you very much. $625. Do I have 650? $650. Do I have 650? 650. All right, we have $650.
Oh, wow.
All right, we've got a tennis match going on here.
This is a bidding war.
We've got $650. Do we have 675? 675, anything over? Pretty quiet over here. Pretty quiet. Don't scratch your nose like that, sir. You're going to own it. All right. We have six. Do we have $700? Let's go to 7. Do we have $700? 6. What are we at? 650? 650, right? Do we have 675 anywhere? 675 anywhere? So we have 675 here. We're at 675. $700. We've got 7. $700. $700. $700 going once. $700 going twice. Sold for $700. Thank you very much, Sam. There we go. That was exciting. All right. I'm sorry. So, well, you know, let's find this at home then. Mr. Davis, how are you, kid? Jay, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I want to say the reason I'm here is because my wife is a neuroscientist, and she actually trained at Michigan and worked at Iowa, and now she's at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And she became an Iowa girl, just like her mother, where she was born. But she grew up in Nebraska. But this gold tie is going to get the University of Iowa women's basketball team a national championship.
Oh, babe, there you go. There you go.
Hopefully do a little bit for these wonderful people.
There you go. Jay, thank you so much. Thank you also. That's awesome, Jay.
That's great.
That's awesome. All right. Well, every year it's been tradition that we have an award banquet to recognize individuals who've really gone above and beyond in so many ways. And we did it while during the pandemic. While we did do it, we really weren't able to give folks their just due. So we just wanted to take this time and just remember those folks over the 2020, 2021, and 2022 who were award winners and give them acknowledgement at this time. Nope. Oh yeah. You got to like this. Our first winner for an outstanding achievement in 2020, and let's hold our applause till we're all done with all our mentions. The Outstanding Achievement Award in 2020, my colleague Dana Morrow. A Lifetime Achievement Award in 2020 was awarded to Sherry McLaughlin, and the Research Achievement in 2020 was presented to Dr. Laura Ranum. Here you go.
All right.
Okay.
So now we're going to move on to 2021. Lauren Sermani was our Outstanding Achievement Award. Mark Dessa was our Outstanding Achievement Award. And Mike DeRosa was our Outstanding Achievement Award for 2021. So now 2022, we'd like to recognize Leanna Rosenthal for Research Achievement, Vikram Shakate for Research Achievement, Shang Han Kuo for Research Achievement, Camille Daglio for Lifetime Achievement, and Sally Poor for Outstanding Achievement.
Let's give them all a big round. All right, well, that quickly brings us to this evening. Our first award is for an outstanding achievement in 2022. In 2018, I met Mark and Leah Minkin at the Lap the Lake event in Madison, Wisconsin. I asked them if they'd be interested in taking part in our Joint Mission Baton event that was taking place in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and the answer was very quickly, yes. The next year, when the JMB wasn't able to take place, we had an event in Nashville, Tennessee called Country Skies. I asked Mark and Leah if you guys wanted to see if they wanted to be involved, and they said yes. Then we introduced an idea to them called the Best Burger in Town, and we asked them, would you like to do that? They said yes. Mark took it on his own to become Santa Claus in his community during the pandemic. All of this to raise money for the National Ataxia Foundation. Last year, they initiated a bowling event in suburban Milwaukee in support of NAF. And recently, they've become the national chairs for our Accelerate annual fund campaign. So tonight, for saying yes so many times, tonight we'd like to say thank you, Mark and Leah Minkin, Outstanding Achievement Award winners for 2023. Please come up.
So I'd like to read what it says on their plaque. It's from the National Ataxia Foundation. For the Outstanding Achievement Award is bestowed upon Mark and Leah Minkin in recognition of your outstanding achievement and dedicated efforts in support of the mission of NAF. Thank you for your support. National Ataxia Foundation's 66th Annual Ataxia Conference, April 1st, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Joel told me I had 45 seconds to say a few words, so so we'll make it real quick. Leah and I, we are humbled yet saddened to accept this award tonight. Humbled because there are so many of you out there that do so much for the National Ataxia Foundation. So again, it's an honor. Saddened because we're up here celebrating the things that we have done to raise awareness and money for a terrible disease. So I guess my last message to you, and Leah had no idea I was going to say this, but to the National Ataxia Foundation, the next time you ask me anything, the answer is going to be yes. Because at the end of the day, we are not done yet until
we are all together celebrating a cure.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is the end of the road for Dana and I. We have enjoyed being with you these last 3 days. It's been a treat to get to know so many of you in the hallway, out at the exhibit hall, whatever. Thank you for all the feedback. It's been a real pleasure. It's always a pleasure to work with Dana. And at this time, for our next award presentation, I'd like to bring to the stage our Chief Scientific Officer, Dr. Lauren Moore. Lauren, come on up. There we go.
Give them one more grand round of applause for hosting a really great conference. Thanks. All right, and I am so excited to introduce two people that I know very well and respect dearly and hope to continue to working closely with in the future. And so our next award is for the Rising Star in Research Award, and this award is going to go to Dr. Haley McLaughlin and Celeste Stewart. So Dr. Haley McLaughlin and Dr. Celeste Stewart are both outstanding rising stars in the field of ataxia's research and have already made significant contributions to our understanding of ataxia. You may remember them from earlier in the conference for their outstanding interview with Bill Nye, the Science Guy. So Dr. McLaughlin is an assistant professor at the University of Michigan Neurology Department with a joint appointment in the Department of Human Genetics, where her lab focuses on understanding and developing therapies for SCA3. Dr. Stewart, who only recently got her PhD a couple weeks ago, so can we give her a round of applause for that great accomplishment. So she was granted her PhD in March 2023 from McMaster University in Canada, where her thesis work focused on understanding disease processes underlying SCA1. So I could go on and on about their scientific accomplishments and many accomplishments yet to come, but what I want to focus on is how they turned their love and devotion to science and made sure that they kept the patient in mind throughout their entire research and academic studies. So this award is being given to Dr. Stewart and McLaughlin because they have both gone above and beyond the calling of just a scientist. In 2018, these outstanding women founded SCA Source, the first online resource for learning about research on SCAs and related ataxias that is specifically written for those most affected by ataxias, those affected individuals, their families, and their caregivers. The idea for SCA Source stemmed from an NAF ataxia investigators meeting where Dr. McLaughlin and Stewart had the opportunity to interact with those most affected by ataxias and learn more about the unique experiences and obstacles that they face in their daily lives. They were each struck by the curiosity and hunger for information expressed by many of the individuals with ataxia that they met. There was clearly a need to provide accurate, timely, and understandable information about ataxia research to those that are most affected by these diseases. But really, what's most impressive by this is they actually did something about it. With the goal of making research more readily accessible and understandable to ataxia patients and their families, Dr. McLaughlin and Stewart co-founded SCA Source. From 2018 through 2022, SCA Source was made possible through small sponsorships, and content relying entirely on graduate students, postdocs, and senior scientists who volunteered their time and energy towards a shared goal. In 2022, NAF partnered with SEA Source and its writers to host their content and publish their articles. Today, there are more than 80 writers and editors that contribute to cutting-edge, peer-reviewed scientific content that is written and distributed for free with entirely the patient in mind. If you haven't already checked it out, I recommend that each of you check out the SEA Source page, which is now on the NAF website. It is full of interesting and, importantly, understandable articles highlighting the most exciting advancements in ataxia research. So we can all join together in thanking Dr. McLaughlin and Suart for your continued commitment to both ataxia research and to those most impacted by these diseases.
We've likewise been told we have 30 seconds to say something. This is a privilege that is very difficult to summarize in 30 seconds. But the one thing that comes to mind is, you know how on Facebook you'll get a reminder of where you were a certain number of years ago? Well, earlier today I got a notification that 5 years ago we were in Philadelphia at an ataxia meeting where a random conversation led to a website that started off with a team of 10, and now we've grown to so much more. I know I'm also very excited. I've been doing this volunteering throughout my graduate degree, and I'm so excited that you thought I was good enough to hire me full-time to do this. So thank you all so much.
Just 2 words, really, here. I couldn't have done this without Celeste. She is a fabulous advocate, someone who hits the ground running and moves things forward. So you guys have an outstanding addition to NAF. So reach out both to SEA Source because, again, it was a conversation we had. So the conversations we've had throughout this last couple of days can be quite meaningful, maybe a half a decade later. So thank you. Thank you for your support.
Thank you so much.
And I have the great privilege of giving our next research award, and this is for the Don W. Scott Research Achievement Award. And this award this year is going to be given to Dr. Beverly Davidson, who spoke earlier today. So a little bit about Dr. Davidson. Each year, the John W. Scott Research Achievement Award goes to a clinician or scientist whose contributions have forever altered the field of ataxia research. Over the course of her celebrated career, this year's awardee, Dr. Beverly Davidson, has repeatedly pushed our understanding of neurogenetic disorders and defined entirely new approaches to treating diseases like ataxia. Dr. Davidson has spearheaded the development of gene therapy, and in particular, a technique called RNA interference, one of the most exciting potential technological advances in ataxia drug development. Many ataxias are caused by DNA mutations in our genes that result in either too much of a toxic protein or not enough of a necessary protein being produced. Dr. Davidson has spent over 20 years fine-tuning novel gene therapy and gene silencing technologies that can replace or reduce production of disease-associated proteins in the brain and body. Her contributions have brought us to the cusp of clinical trials to assess the potential promise of gene therapy for the treatment of genetic ataxias. When reviewing her resume, it seems almost impossible that one individual can hold so many important leadership roles simultaneously. Since 2016, Dr. Davidson has held the title of Chief Scientific Strategy Officer at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where she is also the chair in pediatrics, director of the Center for Cellular and Molecular Therapy, as well as the professor of pathology and laboratory medicine at the University of Pennsylvania's Perelman School of Medicine. Throughout her career, Dr. Davidson has published over 250 research articles and has trained countless future leaders in research, including Dr. Haley McLaughlin, who you just saw on stage just a moment ago. In addition to her academic accomplishments, Dr. Davidson has been a productive entrepreneur. She is the co-founder of Spark Therapeutics and Tally Bio. She also serves on the scientific advisory boards of Sarepta Therapeutics, Homology Medicines, Prevail Therapeutics, and Intellia Therapeutics. Dr. Davidson was recently elected into the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and the National Academy of Medicine. She was also the most recent past president of the American Society of Gene and Cell Therapy, the largest international association of gene and cell therapy research. She is a current member of NAF's Medical Research and Advisory Board and is this year's recipient of the John W. Scott Research Achievement Award. So thank you, Dr. Beverly Davidson, for your commitment to the development of effective treatments for ataxias and other rare disorders.
Thank you so much. It's really fantastic to be here. As I said this morning, I was also brought into ataxia research through chance interactions with patients with ataxia and other dominant gain-of-function disorders caused by these repeats in our DNA. I would like to also say that I'm now a proud owner with my husband of a very yellow tie. I want to thank the foundation, the National Ataxia Foundation, and all of the work that goes on at the state level, the local level, the city level. And I think it's great that we have this community here and that we've come together this year. And I very much look forward to next year. So thank you again for this really amazing honor. I've known Dr. Scott and his work for some time, since the very first discovery of the very first gene that causes ataxia. And we have much work to do, and I'm up to the task. So thank you.
About 5 years ago, I was up here as someone who was just about to finish their PhD. I was giving a talk, and right after I finished my talk, some random man walked up to me and said, "Hey, I'm the new executive director of the National Ataxia Foundation, and I think that you should work for NAF in some capacity in the future." And I'm very happy today to call him my boss. So let's introduce Andrew Rosen, who is the executive director of the National Ataxia Foundation.
Good evening, everyone. How we doing? That dance floor is sort of teasing me, but we've got one more important award to give out before we get to that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about an extraordinary woman named Lenore Healy-Schultz, who is the recipient tonight of our Arnie Grutzmacher Lifetime Achievement Award. Lenore has been involved with the National Ataxia Foundation for 25 years. After the progression of ataxia caused Lenore to lose her full-time job, she worked for a few years part-time for NAF in 1998 to 2001 because she has a medical science background and wanted to contribute to the mission of this organization. In 2006, Lenore started the Twin Cities Ataxia Support Group and has been the support group leader for this group ever since. The group has held a very successful walk and roll event in support of NAF since 2010, which has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last 12 years. Lenore was inspired to start the group from a local community member that she had met that loved the annual Ataxia conferences and wanted to be a part of a local ataxia community in the Twin Cities area. The Twin Cities Ataxia Support Group remains an invaluable resource to the ataxia community in Minnesota because of Lenore's leadership and commitment. Lenore has remained involved with supporting her local ataxia community despite the hardships of living with the progression of ataxia and being a single mom to her daughter with no full-time employment or family living nearby. Lenore has drawn some of her strength and perseverance that has allowed her to keep going forward despite the challenges and losses from her faith and losses from her faith in mom, who raised 7 kids while being the sole caregiver to her dad. Congratulations, Lenore, on this well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award.
Using an iPad, my daughter would be so proud of me. So I want to thank NAF for this award, but NAF would not be where it is today without the compassionate leadership, patience, and quiet determination for change of the former board member, Bill Sweeney. Bill, in 2014, he became the chair, and he hired Joel. In 2014? Am I right? 2016, sorry. Anyway, that's been a huge change. And Bill, he was on the board of directors from 2008 until 2020, and he was chair of the board for the last 6 years of that time. And then the bill enabled NAF to grow the way it is now, because when I worked part-time at NAF from 98 to 2001, there were like 5 people, and I was part-time. So it has grown, and I'm very thankful that Bill renewed my hope in NAF as an organization. And thank you for this recognition.
All right, I just have a couple more things to do before we get this party started here. So first off, over the last few days, you all have taken a whole bunch of selfies and put pictures on social media, and our crack AV team has put together a little compilation of those. So why don't we run that video now and enjoy. That was great. A call out to our online attendees who are watching with us tonight. We had over 300 people register for the virtual version of this event. And we're thrilled to be able to offer both in-person and virtual options. And a shout out to you all. We hope you've enjoyed the last couple days of the conference. I do want to give a quick call out already for next year's conference. I can't really believe I'm talking about next year's conference. It's going to take me a week or two to get over this year's conference. However, our 2024 Annual Ataxia Conference will be held a bit later next year, May 30th to June 1st, at the Carib Royale in beautiful Orlando, Florida. And we hope that all of you will be there. Bring a friend, bring a loved one. It's going to be a great event. And we will see you in Florida next May. And then lastly, I want to turn things over to our DJ. Get yourselves loosened up, and I will turn things over to DJ John Q. Take it away.